Hello, hello. My name is Nigel. I've been asked to come on and tell you a little bit about Jason. Now, I know what you're thinking. You look very much like him, and I know I'm rather handsome at that. But the fact is that we're related, but we're not the same person. I've got a new angry bird. Mine are not as big as his. It's kind of it's a blackbird, like the Paul McCartney song. Isn't that nice? Um, And the thing is there's some new viewers on the channel who are just going to be very confused about this wonky British accent that you're hearing at the moment. And that's all because of Give Me a Break Man, Give Me a Flake Man, Victor in Nagoya. Bravo, Victor. Thank you for some new subscribers. And, no, that's my phone, isn't it? Um, and I just wanted to come on and do a little bit of an FAQ. Not the queue, the kind that you line up in to go get your Batman tickets. Are you going to go see Batman? It's not opened in Japan yet. Can't go see it. Rather upset about that. So, many of you want to know, how did you get this job? This wonderful job. I'm in my office now. I get to wear a lanyard. I don't know if that's how you say it in England. I'm just making it up. Okay, I'm going to stop that now. Some people have asked me for the British accent. I can do many different kinds of British accents, and that's one of them. But there you go. Don't ask me again for a while. Victor even asked me to do it like on the spot when I was with him in Nagoya. Okay, so that was a very weird introduction that took like almost 2 minutes. And I did want to come on and do a little bit of an FAQ because I'm getting a lot of the same questions over and over. So here are some quick things about my situation now. Hopefully I can just say, go look at that video next time somebody asks me one of these questions in a comment. I was a JET in the JET program. JET is Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. Most of you probably have come to this channel because of that. But I am getting some new people watching my videos because of the shout out I got on Victor's channel. I went to Nagoya, met Victor, Give Me a Break Man, and we went to Sumo together, and it was awesome fun. And I'm going to have videos from that. I have an all Sumo channel. Those videos are going to be on there. And so some people are asking me, like, how did you get your current job? You know, why are you back in Japan? Some people don't know that I ever left, etc. So here we go. I came to Japan in 2004. I stayed 5 years on the JET program. There's all my fingers. That's a little unusual. They've always allowed people to stay 5 years, but what happened was while I was a JET in 2007, they changed a rule, and I was able to stay at the same school with the same students for the most part and for all 5 of my years. You used to be able to go a 3-year maximum, and then you had to go be elementary school only. And so that was great. So I did that, and I was the first JET in my prefecture that I was living in at that time, Shimane-ken, to stay 5 years at one school. And I left JET in 2009. I figured it was about time I went home. I hadn't been back to America in like 2 years, even for a vacation. And so I went home for a year. And if you look down my video list, I have, 500 videos on this channel. You'll see, Jason in America. You'll see some of my adjustment back to living in San Diego, is my hometown in California. But almost right after I got back, I kind of knew I wanted to go back to Japan. I really enjoyed my time in Japan. I was kind of sad to see it end. I enjoyed teaching Japanese students. But I was looking for something different. I either wanted to go to a very urban area, like Nagoya, or Osaka, or Tokyo, or Kobe, or even Hiroshima. So I was sending out some resumes to urban placements. Again, I was just probably not aiming very high. ALT was going to be fine. I didn't really want to work at a language school. And I was getting some nibbles, but no bites. And I was posting on Facebook, and a woman who worked at a university who knew me from JET, I did conferences, I gave lectures about how to be a better teacher. I was a very active JET when I was a JET. And she knew me from that time. And she said, look, I'm leaving this position I have at a rural university and going back to my home country of Canada. Would you be interested in coming and meeting the people here, seeing the campus, and thinking about the job because it would save us having to advertise it, blah, blah, blah. I know you, I can recommend you, etc., etc. And I said, sure. But like many of you, when you leave me comments, you're like, well, Jason, from what we know about you and your Angry Birds, you don't have a master's degree. That's correct. I do not have a master's degree. I have my regular degree. I got it. I majored in American history at UCSD with a minor in Japanese studies, and that was the end. What I call a 4-year degree. And while I'm doing this now, please don't ask me. Yes, you have to have a 4-year degree, a regular college degree to be a jet. I get asked that. That's the one question I get asked more than anything ever. Um, so I said, sure. I was coming back in March of 2010 anyway to go to graduations. The graduation season in Japan is in March. I wanted to see my kids who I'd started the year with because I left in July of 2009 to graduate. And I also wanted to go to Sumo in Osaka. The Sumo Basho in Osaka is in the middle of March. So I said, while I'm back in March, let me come to the university and meet some folks. And she said, okay, it won't really be an interview. It'll be more like a meet and greet, etc., etc. So I met some people. They liked me. I liked them. I gave a small presentation about how some of the things I had done when I was in ALT, using technology, etc. And it was nice to put names to faces. So as the summer approached, the school year in Japan for the college I now work at ends at the very end of July. She's like, yeah, they're interested in hiring you. Would you want to come? And then we worked out details. What's the salary? What are the benefits? Blah, blah, blah. And I said yes. So I moved back to Japan, to rural Japan, in September of 2010, and I've been here for about 2 years now. But as a private citizen, no longer with Jet, had to find my own apartment, get a car, do a bunch of stuff. Luckily, I had some good helping people at the university because my Japanese is far from fluent. So the question is, how did you get that job since you don't have a master's? Well, to be a professor, a full professor with a monthly salary and all the benefits, etc., all the perks, in a Japanese university, you do need a master's. Okay, straight up, you need a master's degree and you need to be published. Most universities want you to have published some kind of scholarly paper or thesis or something in an academic type of journal. I think that most require you to be published twice. This job, I am what's called a part-time teacher, and I don't want to go into all the details or what my salary is because that's private. But basically, what it means is, if I didn't have the second job I'm going to tell you about in a minute, all I would have to do is come to school when I teach. Come for those 90-minute classes, and then I could go home, or I would have to have office hours a little bit. We have a part-time teacher's office where the students could come and ask me questions, etc. But basically, like previous semester, I only had classes on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I had no classes on Thursdays and Fridays last semester. That's not the case this semester. So I wouldn't even have to have come to school on Thursday and Friday if I didn't want to. But the thing is, and the money I get for teaching for those 90 minutes is very, very, very good. But that doesn't get me health benefits because it's not enough time, per week or whatever. So we have this wonderful room I'm in now. It's after school and the air conditioning's turned off. It's hot. But it's called the Language Lab, and I work here basically from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. helping students with English, with their computers, with anything that's related to English classes here on campus. They can come and read magazines. We have all these books they can look at. It's just great. So those hours, which are apart from my teaching hours, because sometimes I have to close the lab and go to class and teach, those hours are what get me, my sort of full-time job status, and I'm able to get, national health and everything else. So the two jobs together, the two salaries together, I make a very good amount of money when I'm teaching. I will say the caveat to my situation is it's soon going to be August, right? My last exam is on July 31st, and then I have a few days. Sorry, I'm getting something out of my eye. Where I have to, do grades, submit grades, and we're actually going to have something here on the 4th of August called Open Campus. and that's where we invite high school kids to our school and say, hey, why don't you come to our school? And so we have to razzle dazzle them. We're going to whip out all our iPads we just bought in the media center and show them how we use iPads in the classroom. Um, so I have a few things going on in August, but basically then I'm free for like 7 weeks until the very end of September, when I have to come back and start gearing up to begin second semester, which officially starts on October 1st. So basically I get very, very good money, and then I get no money because I'm not teaching. And I'll get a little bit from working in here and doing a few odds and ends, but it's not the salary level that my teaching classes are. So I don't know if that's confusing, but basically I get 9 months of a very good salary, and I get 3 months, August, September, and March, which is spring break, the whole month of March, of zero. So 9 months very good, 3 months zero. Now, part of that is some people say, yeah, but you're free. You can leave, you can go back to America, etc., etc. And that's true. This summer, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that because, you know, I still have to pay rent on my apartment, pay my car, pay my utilities, and I don't get a paycheck in September, and I don't get a paycheck in October, because when I start working in October, I get paid for that in November, of course. So anyway, again, I don't want to go too complicated, and maybe it already is, but my situation is I'm a part-time teacher, not a full professor. And I've had some discussions with my boss, you know, the head of the English department, and she's encouraging me to get my master's. So there are a number of ways you can do this when you're in Japan. I can do distance learning. I could really bone up on my Japanese, say for a year, and then I could get my master's at this university, but all my classes would be in Japanese. Although you can write your papers in English, I've been told. So there's options. There's ways to do it. Of course, I could just say, okay, well, I'll quit and go home and get my master's in America and then come back. But, you know, that's a whole hairy deal. So that's how I was able to get this job in a very elongated nutshell. Um, uh, you know, if I want to get on a monthly salary and get some perks and et cetera, you know, but I will say, okay, let's just do real quick pros and cons. The pros of being a full professor: you get the monthly salary, you get some, you know, travel benefits, blah 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 blah. But you also have to go to a weekly meeting, which, if you've ever taught in Japan, you know how torturous those can be. It's a huge staff meeting. It's all in Japanese. They can sometimes drag on and on and on. You have other responsibilities at the university where I can basically just say, no, I'm done, see ya. I don't a lot, but I mean, I could. I couldn't necessarily just go home in the summertime, sorry, for as long as I do, or I did last year. I went home for about almost 7 weeks last summer. And those videos from my time in the summer in San Diego are on my Taisha Jason channel. And I had some students come out and visit me, and it was really fun. But anyway, so that's, you know, there's pros and there's cons. And do I want to become a full professor? This is a question I have to ask myself. Do I want to stay here? I'm very rural again. I really, when I went to Nagoya, I was like, wow, big city, lots of young people, an Outback Steakhouse, you know, no. You know, just so much to do, easy transportation, you know, places open past 10 o'clock at night. You know, big city life versus small Inaka life in Japan is a big thing, and I do have to seriously think about that. But anyway, so that's the basics of my life. I've been here 2 years. I will be here, I would guess, at least 2 more. You know, I don't know what to say beyond that. I really, sorry, God, I'm gonna sneeze. I really enjoy teaching university students. That is one good thing that came of this. Is, you know, I got to do elementary when I was a jet. I got to do junior high. I did some events like the chess camp we have, camp for high school English speakers of Shimane, where I got to meet high school students and interact with them. And now I'm teaching college-age students. I really have done the full spectrum, and it's great to be able to have conversations and chat with them. So this was supposed to be 3 or 4 minute video, and it's 15. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this information. I hope I can point to this video in the future and people that ask me comments about that. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. and I will do my best to answer. Hope you have a good weekend. It's Friday for me. I'm heading home, but I'm coming back here tomorrow. Teacher job. I got so much grading to do, papers and tests, and got to write an exam, and so it's a lot of work. But I'm really enjoying it. Okay, peace. Have an Angry Birds weekend. See you next time.